So, we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the very beginning of the instructions of Krishna, Lord Krishna to Arjuna. So, we're doing the 13th verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Dehinosmin yatha dehe.
Dehinosmi yatha dehe.
Kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Kaumaram yauvaram jara.
Tatha dehantara praptir.
Tatha dehantara praptir.
Dhirastatra namuhyati.
Dhirastatra namupyati.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there is no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering, according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have either spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So in either case, there was no cause for lamentation. Any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira, or a most sober man. Such a man is never deluded by the changes of body. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as a fragmented portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the supreme cleavable or changeable against the principle of the supreme soul being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the supreme exist eternally, sanatan, and are called kshara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternally so, and even after liberation, the individual soul maintains the same fragmental position. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to the super soul who is present in each and every individual body and is known as Paramatma, who is different from the individual living being. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities and the sun or the moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna and the Supreme Soul is personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. They are not on the same level. As it will be apparent in the beginning of the fourth chapter, if Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then their relationship of instructor and the instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are deluded by the illusory energy, Maya, then there is no need for one being the instructor and the other the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because, in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity Arjuna, who is a forgotten soul deluded by Maya. Hare Krishna. देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं तथा देहान्त प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. The living soul is actually constantly migrating from one body to another. Sometimes you see in our families, we see, oh, grandfather has died, father has died, mother has died, and we are very unhappy. What has happened? This is very inauspicious. This is a very sad thing. Shouldn't have happened. And sometimes a child is born. Oh, congratulations! You got a son. You got a daughter. So actually, these are just migrations of the body. We look outside the window. There's a bus stop. Buses are continuously coming and going. No one is rejoicing and no one is feeling sad. That's the purpose of human life actually. Dhirastatra namahiti. To be dhira. To become indifferent to all of this. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehanta praptir. You will continuously migrate. If you look at your photographs when you were children, maybe when you were 5 years old, 10 years old, you don't look anything like that. But no one is lamenting. The mother is not lamenting, oh, what happened to my child? No, she's happy, oh, my child has grown up, he's an engineer, he's a doctor or something. She's not thinking, what happened to my baby? Now my baby is gone. No, that's just a change of body. Actually, it's a complete change. All the cells have changed, everything has changed. But the soul has remained inside. The soul is still the same. Therefore, we do not lament it. The problem comes when we change the body. Tatha dehanta prapta. When we take another body. Because we do not have any knowledge, we become sorrowful. Where is my father gone? Where is my mother? We think like this. Actually, they have just gone somewhere else. Now we just can't see them, but they are very much there. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is also feeling very sad. How can I kill? Just before this verse, actually around 8th or 9th verse, Arjuna is already complaining. These are my respectables. These are my respectable personalities. Bhishma, Drona. I cannot even offer harsh words to them. How can I attack them with weapons on this battlefield? But Krishna is saying, you are talking like a fool. You are lamenting for what is not worth lamenting. Because they are old men, they will die anyhow. You kill them now, they will be at least purified. Dharma Yuddha. They will at least attain liberation. If you just let them die, they have committed adharma. They are pure souls, but they have done adharma. So they will have to suffer for that. So it's better you just kill them on the battlefield now. So that way, because anyhow they are going to die. You are lamenting now and you run away from the battlefield. If you just run away now, you cannot protect them from death, which is certain, which will anyway come. So better you fight here. Because if you run away, then you are also committing adharma. So, this is ignorance. Dhira Sattranam, to be adhira. What is adhira? I mean, if you know a little bit of Sanskrit, you know Adhira means someone who is impatient. Adhira is in actually Sanskrit from a spiritual perspective. Adhira means someone who is passionate. One who cannot control his senses. Adhira. So, you know, like Bhagavatam says, Om Shama Striya Mithuni Bhavam Etam. When a man sees a woman or a woman sees a man, immediately there is agitation. So, if a person can control that agitation, this is known as a brahmachari. Adhira. That's an adhira, one who can control his passion. That's adhira. So if you are able to, if you become a dhira, then you are not deluded. You will not be illusioned. So how does one become a dhira? One becomes a dhira by studying of scriptures. Vedanta Sutra, Shruti. So Vedanta Shruti it's called. Some, like if you summarize all Vedic scriptures, you can call it Vedanta Shruti. By hearing the Shruti, you become dhira. You understand what is reality and what is not. For example, you know, if you go to some fake market, you see some fake iPhones or something, you are not agitated. You know it's all fake. This is not for me. So just like that, this body, this society is not for us. We are just born for a very short time, we live here and we die. So a person who is dhira, he is not deluded by these things. He is not attracted to the temporary material nature. He only does activities which are sufficient for his own sustenance, which are not meant to entangle him further and further. This knowledge we get from the scriptures. So why do we need to rely on the scriptures? We're talking about Vedanta Sutra, we're talking about the Puranas, the Shrutis. Why do we talk about them? Why can't we just research it? We have researched the electronics, we have researched so many things. Why can't we research the reality of our life? That we are the soul. We cannot do this because Shrutis are explaining that we are full of four defects. Any living entity, Maya has four defects. First of all, imperfect senses. We cannot see too much. We cannot hear too much. You know, our visibility spectrum is so small. Our hearing range is so small. Our senses are imperfect. Because our senses are imperfect, we make mistakes. We make mistakes. At night, you know, we sometimes stumble and fall because we cannot see. So we make mistakes because of imperfect senses. We are illusioned. We are always illusioned. Like, you see, sometimes I'm here, then I feel unhappy, I start feeling homesick. I want to go back to India. And I go back there, I say, no, I think I'm better off here. This is illusion. Always an illusion. Actually, living entity cannot be happy anywhere. Krishna is explaining, Mamupete Punarjanma, Dukhalayam Ashashrutam, Napnuvanti Mahatmana, Samsiddhim Paramamdata. Material world means Dukhalayam Ashashrutam. It's temporary and full of miseries. No matter what you do. So there is no need to rejoice anything, no need to be unhappy or anything. Understand everything is only meant to give you misery. That is material nature. So that is what you understand. So that is an illusion that we still seek happiness here. So that is the illusion. And finally, the tendency to cheat. It's a living entity in the material body, always has a desire to survive. So he has to cheat. He cheats. His illusion, so he will cheat also. He doesn't know who he is. So in such a condition, when we are so limited, we cannot find the absolute truth by our own endeavors. That is not possible. Therefore, we have to hear the Shastras. Because Shastras are self-realized. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavanti shatyate. The absolute truth is realized by the study of scriptures and the words of the sages. Those who have seen the truth, the seers of the truth, tattva vidas. So we have to hear those words and then we can realize the absolute truth. So by this, by study of Shrutis, Smritis, we get that knowledge by which we can become free from the limitation of birth and death. So that is called Brahma Gyan, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That's the responsibility of a human being. Know who he is. Brahma Jigyasa. Try to find out who you are. So this knowledge. So now we have talked about migration. We have talked about Tatha Dehantar Prapti. So what is this Dehantar Prapti? What kind of body do you get? So Bhagavad Gita is explaining that if you are in higher modes of nature, then you will attain higher destinations. Those who are in the lower modes of nature will attain lower destinations. Just like if you want to become an engineer, you study physics, mathematics, physical sciences. If you want to become a doctor, you have to study life sciences. So just like that, you have to change your consciousness. To become an engineer, you must be proficient in physics and mathematics. If you want to be a doctor, you have to be proficient in biological sciences. So like that, if you want, so you are changing your situation. 4 years of engineering, your consciousness has changed. So you have to put that effort. So it's simply by sitting and thinking, one does not attain higher destinations. You have to change your consciousness. If you want to go to heavenly planets, you have to be in sattva, in the mode of goodness. If you want to stay on earthly planets, you can be in passion. But if you take to degraded activities, then you will go to lower planetary systems. So, so you change your consciousness. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajat ante kalivaram tam tamaivati kaunteya sadat bhava bhavata. It does not happen automatically. Whatever consciousness you cultivate in your life, that you attain in your next body. So this body that you have attained now is a result of your previous desires and actions. So if you want a better destination or a different destination, you have to change your consciousness now. But the scriptures are explaining, Bhagavad Gita is explaining that you should not hope to attain again another body. What is the use? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. If another body is also going to give you birth and death, then why do you want that? So therefore, in this birth, athato brahma jigyasa. So as Kathopanishad is saying, Uttishta Jagrat Prapya Varan Nibodhita Shurasya Dhara Nishta Duritya Durgam Pathastat Kavayo Vadanti. Uttishta Jagrat, arise, see who you are. Uttishta Jagrat, arise and awaken. Prapya Varan Nibodhita, see the great boon you have received in the form of a human life. Actually, there are 8 million species below human beings who have no consciousness. Dogs, cats, elephants, trees. They don't have human level of consciousness. They have life, they have instincts, but they have no consciousness. They are instinctive creatures. Now you have attained a human birth. Try to find the real purpose of human life. Uttishta Jagrat. See, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Try to find out who you are. That is the purpose of human life. So Krishna is explaining that. So when should this search actually begin? At what age should we start? So we study engineering when we are 17, 18 years old. We study till 21, 22. So what time should we study the scriptures? When should we start? So Prahlad Maharaj is explaining. Kaumaram Acharya Pratyas. Start when you are a child. There is no time. This search for absolute truth is a very, very long search. Durgam Pathastat Kavayo Vadanti. It's a very, very difficult task. It's a very, very long task. So one must start as soon as one has attained consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj is 5 years old and he is with his classmates. So he is explaining that you must start because now is already too late. 5 years have gone. 5 years have gone. So it's already we are too late. Actually, we don't know when death will come. No one knows when death comes. If you are from India, last year how many celebrities died? 41, 42, 43, 50. And we think, 40, I'm young. Who cares? I'm 40, it doesn't matter. My father is 75, I'm all right. No, death can come any moment to anybody. There was I know one case myself. When I was a student, like I was very young at that time, there was a student from JJ School of Medicine in Bombay. He was one of the toppers of the class. And he would always come to the temple. When he graduated, in the final year, he was invited to a student party in a pub. And he went there. So he said, what's the harm? Just once I'm there. After this is the only temple for me. In that party, he was 22 years old. In that party, he was drinking and dancing. And he got a heart attack and died. That was it. So you see, death can come at any moment. There is no guarantee. Air crash. Who do you think? Do you think any pilot decides that I'm going to crash today? Or you think anyone thinks in the hospital? Do you think someone thinks, I have cancer, but I will live, no problem? No, everyone wants to live. But death can come at any moment. But what is the significance? So death will come at any moment. It can come at 20, it can come at 80. But what is the significance? What are we talking about? We're talking about the consciousness that you are maintaining at the time of leaving your body. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajya kante kalivaram. So if your consciousness is animal, at the time of death, you retain an animal body. So those who are in the mode of goodness will attain higher planets. If you're thinking of the absolute truth, you think of the Lord at the time of death, you will attain higher planets. If you think of something lower, if you're thinking of some car or some girl or something, you will attain a lower body. It's just a matter of consciousness. We are again talking about consciousness, not thinking. We're talking about the feelings that you cultivate, not the thoughts. Thoughts can come and go at any moment. But what is your overall consciousness? What is your feeling? That will decide your next birth. So that has to start as soon as possible. Actually, Bhagavatam says, Savaya Pumsham Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Adhokshate. Apratyata Hetukiya Atma Suprasidati. That you have many duties. You have a duty as a scientific officer, as a duty as a technician, duty as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as an Indian, as a Finn, as an American. So many duties. But what is your highest duty? Your highest duty is as a human being. Your highest duty is to realize that you are the spirit soul. You are none of this. You see, personally, you know this Boeing 747 jumbo jet, world's largest selling jumbo jet. You know who designed it? Do you know? There was an engineer called Joe Sutter. He passed away 3 years ago. The jumbo jet is still there, but he is not. So you see, all that we create is going to be there. Apple, Steve Jobs, where is he now? Ford Motors, Henry Ford, where is he now? Bunky Nixon, General Motor Corporation, where is he now? No one knows. So you see, all these Maya creates an environment in which you think that everything is permanent. This building in which we are sitting now is 300 years old. This was a villa. Then it became a kind of a home for the people in need. And it has changed so many places. The building stands. All those people are gone. We will be also gone. The building will still remain there. But where will we go? That you should think. That is what makes you human. So if you have taken a human birth, please try to inquire about the absolute truth. Maharaj Rishabdev is explaining in Bhagavatam that, my dear sons, these activities of eating, sleeping, waiting, and defending, they are available even to animals. No, there is no difference. Eating, like we are eating in some fancy 5-star restaurant, the dog will eat from a gutter, but the satisfaction is the same. I may think, oh, I have a very beautiful wife. The dog or the monkey also thinks the same way. There is no difference in the culture. I may drive around in a Mercedes Benz or Toyota or Honda or whatever. The dog is simply running on 4 legs. But the activity is the same. Consciousness is the same. So as intelligent human beings, you should look at the substance. Don't look at the surface. You are all like, you must be engineers, aren't you? You must have studied fundamentals. You don't just memorize theories, you understand the fundamentals behind it. So please try to understand the fundamental behind human life itself. Why are you living? What is the contribution? This earth has come and gone. The Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, the British Empire, now America. People will come and go. British Empire lasted 300 years. Did any man last 300 years? The average life of a British, royal or otherwise, was 40 years. But you see the illusion. The British ruled India. No one ruled India. People were coming and dying. British were dying, Indians are also dying. This is the illusion of Maya. Nothing lasts forever. So as intelligent human beings, please think about yourself. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Think who you are and what is the real purpose of life. Material life means it's a string of miseries and relief in between. And you think that you are happy. That is not happiness. Eternal happiness is in the spiritual world. Mam upetya punarjanma. Krishna is saying, those who attain me, they do not come back to this world. So that is the real purpose of human life. Try to find that. That is the real goal. You can continue with all your other duties. You don't have to change your position. as doctors or engineers or as husbands or wives. You do whatever you have to do. But try to understand who you really are. Paro dharma yato bhakti vibhakshate. Your highest duty is to realize the Supreme. All others are subordinate duties. Think of it this way. Your duty is to, you have many duties. You have to get up in the morning, you have to brush your teeth, you have to take a bath. That's also a duty. You have to eat your breakfast, that's also a duty. But that's not the goal of your life. You have not come here all the way from India to just brush your teeth with, Elmex. That's the best toothpaste. No, you haven't come here for that. You come here to study engineering, do your masters or something, or work. That was the objective. So likewise, all I'm saying is, your family, your nation, those are your duties. Yes, you have to pay your taxes, you have to take care of your family, but your objective should be the absolute truth. These are duties you have to do, but objective should be Krishna. Then you attain liberation. Don't do it the other way. Krishna is not a duty and family is the objective. No, family is a duty, Krishna is the objective. Then you will attain liberation. You lead a happy family life, but at the same time you will also attain liberation. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Yes.
So maybe for the benefit of all, what are the methods of this practice? Because I think for many it can be kind of abstract. Because especially for us coming from the Christian background, we have so much emphasis on faith, but there's a lot of like practical methods of every day.
That's nice actually. I deliberately left that so that just wanted to see if someone asked this question. Okay, so what is the method of attaining? So the way the Shruti Shastra define 4 processes, 4 means of attaining the absolute truth. Of these, 3 are transcendental and 1 is not. This process is known as yoga. Yoga, literally, Sanskrit means join, plus. Yoga means to join the Atma with the Paramatma, with the absolute truth. That's the process of yoga. Sorry. Yeah. So these 4 processes. The first one is Karma Yoga, the process of attaining liberation through action. Karma Yoga. Then Jnana Yoga, the process of trying to find the truth through knowledge. Third one is Ashtanga Yoga, the yoga of the body and the mind. And the fourth one is Bhakti Yoga. So just to talk briefly, Karma Yoga means dedicating the fruits of one's actions. But this process eventually involves sense gratification, enjoying the senses in the body. So this is not considered transcendental. It's a very slow process. The process of Jnana means sacrificing all the material possessions and only focusing on the Shrutis, only studying the scriptures, as we see in the case of Adi Shankaracharya. That's Jnana Yoga, analysis of the Shrutis. Then Ashtanga Yoga Siddhi, as we see in the case of Patanjali. Usually Ashtanga Yoga process follows Jnana Yoga. You cannot meditate in one place unless you have studied the scriptures. So the Ashtanga Yoga process. But above these processes is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Because in this age, you cannot sacrifice everything and go to the forest to study the Shrutis or to meditate. So Bhakti Yoga process is the most potent process in this age. It's a very simple process. Kali Santana Upanishad explains, Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Harer Naam eva kevalam, Kalau naste, 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 vatir anyatha. And in this age of Kali, where human lifespan is very short and the minds are very much disturbed, the only process is the recitation of the holy names of the Lord. This we see in any religion of the world. In Islam, in Christianity, in Judaism, everywhere. Even in Buddhism. Even though Buddhism is not a religion, it's a philosophy, still there is chanting of the holy names. But this chanting of the holy names should be done in a proper method, with proper knowledge. So, like the Acharyas explain, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Ekantaki Hare Bhaktir Utpataya Kalpate. This chanting of the holy names of the Lord must be done as per the processes defined in the Shrutis. So yes, you need basic knowledge of the scriptures, but the main process of yoga in this age is chanting of the holy names. So there are many processes. For example, there are many sampradaya, a line of acharya is known as a sampradaya. So in the South India, there is a sampradaya known as the Sri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya. So the practitioners recite the names of Narayana, Namo Narayana, or the or Vallabha Sampradaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in our Sampradaya, which is known as the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the one in the Kirtan that we do. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. But this chanting must be done with faith and focus. Krishna explains in the 18th chapter, Man Manabhav Mad Bhakto, Mad Yaji Mam Namaskar, Mame Vaishyasi Satyam Ke Prasijana, Priyosine. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your sincere. And in this way you will come to me because you are very dear to me. So simply by chanting of the holy names, one can attain the Supreme. And this chanting of the holy name can be done at any time, in any way. Nam Akari, Bahudha Niti Sarva Shakti, Patrarpita Nirmitaha Smaranena Kala. So anyone, like there is no rules and regulations, but you must chant. You must chant with faith and devotion. That's the process. Yes. Does that answer your question, bro?
I was thinking for myself and for everyone, because I think Indians who are coming from Vedic or Hindu background, there's so many
There's much confusion. There's a lot of confusion.
branches. So what is the best method to attain Krishna?
Yeah, chanting is the best method. I also come from a Hindu background. I come from a Brahminical background. In fact, the family of Vedantists. So the confusion is even more. It's not less, it becomes more. Yes. Anyone else has any questions or comments? We still have 10 minutes.
So I have one question regarding Prophitam of Bhishma and Dronacharya.
Yes.
Since they were so pure soul, so did you know about them that when after the death, what they got, where they are? Like,
So I think Vishnu Puran makes a mention of Bhishma there. About Dronacharya is not really mentioned. Dronacharya, yes, he attained liberation, Mukti. Bhishma there attained the planet of Narayan.
okay,
He attained the Lord Narayan.
so they are established over there. Right?
Yes. Because they are pure souls. See, understand one thing. Bhishma and Drona are very contradictory characters in Mahabharata. They have done controversial things. Especially when Draupadi was being disowned. They didn't say anything. As family elders, they should have stopped. But they didn't do that. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that for this reason they deserve to die on the battlefield. But because they have committed a mistake, they also got their purification on the battlefield. So they attained liberation. So they are pure souls.
Another question: the Ashwatthama, the son of Rudra, that I'm not sure. I heard that he is the avatar or some of Shiva or something.
That I haven't heard, but he's a Dirghayu. He's going to live for a long time till the age of Brahma, so he is still alive.
So he cannot be dead.
No, he's alive. Very Dirghayu, is like long living creature.
So another question regarding death. So should I desire my death as soon as possible, since living in this planet is so miserable?
No. There's a Bhagavatam answers this question. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jivitayavata jivasya tattva jigyasa narartho yashcheha karmabhi. One should not, life's desires should never be engaged in sense gratification. One should desire a healthy life so that in this body he can attain the Supreme Lord. So, yes, so we should desire a healthy life. It doesn't mean we should go to a gym and take supplements. No, we should lead a simple life, devoid of passion and ignorance. It should be a pure life. Lead a pure life, following the rules and regulations of Bhakti. Lead a pure life and desire to attain the Supreme. Because you have that opportunity only in this life. only in this birth. And it's not that, that every birth is like, no, there are human beings living in Yemen right now, there are human beings living in Gaza, in Ukraine, there are wars going on. Where do you have time to think of absolute truth there? That's also a human body, but with no opportunity. So you should not desire such a birth where there is so much disturbance of the mind. Or if you are born in, say, Las Vegas, how do you think of Krishna there? There's so much opulence. You're the son of Ambani. What are you doing? You're dealing with billions of rupees every day. Why do you think of Krishna? Why do you think of renunciation or detachment? It's not good for you. It's binding you in the material world. Ambani will also die. That karma will still exist. So you're getting the point. Hare Krishna. Yes. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned that one should chant, we should have faith when one chants the holy name.
Yes.
But is it like this that one has the same faith for like 10 years or 5 weeks or one yoga and then suddenly one is realized, or is there some steps of faith, levels of faith or something which develops by
Yeah, faith will develop. I mean, there are a number of steps. Adho Shraddha,
some
Sangha.
steps of different level of faith?
Yeah. So to put it in very simple language, first you must have some faith that there is some higher truth. With that faith, you must approach a bona fide guru. You must approach a sadhu. Then in their association, you must do bhajan. You must start chanting the holy names. You must start studying about Krishna. And then gradually your faith will strengthen. You will develop nishtha. You will develop, your faith will solidify. Then you will attain bhav. You will attain, feelings in that process. And then love will develop. But this is going to take time. So in the beginning, yes, associate with sadhu. That's a very nice question. So these will be the stages. But it starts with faith. You must have faith, Shraddha, Shraddha, Vishwasa Kahe, Suddha Nishchaya. So in the beginning, there must be some faith that there is something divine. With that faith, you must approach a self-realized soul, one who has seen the truth. I mean, simply having faith is not enough. You have to act on it. You may be brilliant, but if you don't study, you will still not clear the exam. So after that faith, you must act on it. So study the scriptures, associate with sadhus. Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu Sangha. Sarva Shastra. You must take Sadhu Sangha. So then these stages of devotion will also develop. Beginning with some faith, beginning in solidification of the faith, developing of feelings, and eventually attaining love of God. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? We still have 5 minutes.
6.
6. Okay, great. Just asking if someone has any other questions. We have 6 minutes. There is so much to be discussed here, actually. So much time is not sufficient, so I just kept it short. Yes. Yeah.
So you spoke about desires and actions.
Hmm.
So how do they affect? Like we also spoke about the modes of nature and how they will decide where we go.
That is a good question. You had asked this question, yes. Okay, so how do our desires affect where we go? There's a story. Once Indra committed some offense, and he was, kind of condemned to take the birth of a pig on earth. And now, Indra Lok is such a beautiful place. We have no descriptions of it here. It's so beautiful. But Indra took birth as a pig on earth. But being Indra, he was a king of pigs. So he had this position here. He had his pigs, female pigs. He had many children, and he was enjoying that. What does a pig eat really? You have seen it if you're coming from India. You have seen what the pig eats. He was eating all that kind of stuff, and he was happy there. So Brahmaji was calculating time, and he saw, now Indra's time is done. His punishment is over. He can come back as Indra. So he went back to the pig. He said, "My dear pig, now your time is over. Come, take your rightful position as Indra." But pig said, "No. I have a kingdom here. My wives are so faithful. My children are so nice, and this is so great. How can I leave this?" And Brahmaji was quite amazed. How is this even possible? Like such an obnoxious place. But the pig was enjoying it. So Brahmaji, so the story goes that Brahmaji killed him and took him back. So you see, whichever condition you are put in, you relish that. I was once traveling by Lufthansa, and it was like late night, and they were serving food. There was a German sitting next to me. They served some fish paste to him, and the paste smelled like stool. It was that obnoxious. But this man was relishing it. He applied it on a slice of bread once, twice, and then he was eating it, he was relishing it. I couldn't eat after smelling that. So you see, so these are different modes of nature. So if you are in the tamoguna, you relish that. You see people like, they eat those raw fish and other things. Very obnoxious smells. But people enjoy that. At the same time, like when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was in Burma they used to have a tradition that all through the year they would catch any animal that was found dead and put it in a pot. At the end of the year, whatever came out of that pot was taken as a nectar, it's kind of a liquor, dead animal liquid. But these people were very unhappy when the Gaudiya devotees started cooking puris in ghee. The smell of puris frying in ghee was very intolerable to these people. So you see, different modes of nature. We may find it difficult to understand. So our desires, what do we desire? So whatever we see, we start desiring. Like if you like cars, in India you'll probably like some Maruti or Honda, but when you come to Finland, you'll probably like some Ferrari or some Mercedes. What you see, you start liking. You see the Vishay and you start liking it. The desire, the fundamental is only attachment. Objects will keep changing from body to body. Right now, you may find some girl very beautiful, but in the body of a monkey, you will find monkeys beautiful. Scriptures say that. That's a beautiful woman. To a lusty man, she's an object of desire, but to a dog, she's a piece of meat. To a chandal, she's just a body, and to a self-realized soul, she is a living entity, Jivatma. Object is the same, but visions are different because they are in different modes of nature. So our desires, they gradually drive us within the modes of nature. So if you sit with sadhus, you hear the holy name, study the scriptures, your desire, you advance in sattva. You cannot see that. You are just, and your sattva guna is advancing, you will become more and more attracted to transcendental subject matter. You sit with some other guy who's just talking about cars and girls and other stuff. You will slowly start advancing in Rajoguna. You will not realize it. Then slowly you start enjoying stuff. Material world will become enjoyable. You sit with some drunkards, drug addicts. Gradually, Tamoguna will advance. You will start enjoying that. Who cares? I'll take bath next week. Let me not shave. Who cares? Tamoguna will advance. You are not doing it deliberately, but you are getting pushed within the gunas. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. It's only the gunas which are acting. I may think, I am such a brilliant cricketer or I am such a brilliant car driver or something. Only Prakriti is acting. My desire is taking me in that direction. And Prakriti is acting. So if you want to purify your guna, you have to take the appropriate direction. You desire for a direction, your activities will naturally shape you in that. So that's how we advance. So right now you may think that, fish is such an obnoxious thing to eat. You keep associating with fish eaters. Just keep smelling it. Slowly, Tamoguna will advance. And then you'll start relishing it one day. That's how living entities go into different species of life. See, in this world, there is nothing good or bad. No, I'm not saying that eating fish is bad or not eating is good. In this world, nothing is good or bad. These are just a play of gunas. If you are in Tamoguna, you are adhogati, you will go into lower species, low consciousness, suffering will be more. If you are in Sattva, your consciousness will rise up, you will be situated in happiness and peace. You will be detached from material world. Simple example, you watch an India-Pakistan cricket match. India loses, every boy is happy, India lost. But some Finnish person is watching that match. You just ask who are playing and what is this game? What are they doing? Why is it? Why is it like this? Because that person, that Finnish man, is detached. But you as an Indian, you identify with it. Oh, this is my country. This is my sport. So actually nothing is happening. 22 men just running here and there in the ground. Your my misconception, someone is winning, someone is losing. So when you are situated in Sattva, you become detached from all these misconceptions. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. Then you are no longer adhira, you are adhira. Okay? So we stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.